Hello everybody, welcome back. In today's video, we are talking about many different topics. There has been a lot of Marvel updates and also DC updates. So one is going to be about Robert Downey Jr., Doctor Strange not appearing in Avengers Doomsday, and lastly, we are going to be talking about the brand new Spider-Man series. As for the DC coverage, we will be talking about the latest picture that has been shown by James Gunn that shows Supergirl or an actress on set. Let's first talk about the latest news regarding Dr. Doom and Robert Downey Jr. So we know that Robert Downey Jr. will be playing Dr. Doom in Avengers Doomsday and in Avengers Secret Wars. What we don't know though is, could this character played by Robert Downey Jr. continue after Avengers Secret Wars? That is going to be the biggest question, because many of us have been questioning, okay, this cannot be just a one and done situation. We cannot just have this character appear in 2 films and that's it. Like, we never hear about Dr. Doom ever again. But recently there has been a report Marvel wants to have Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom after Secret Wars. Even if Marvel had plans to use Dr. Doom after Secret Wars, which could be like another different version, even if that was like a theory, hearing this rumor is going to cross off that theory. What is now being said is this is going to be the MCU's Dr. Doom for the next 10 years, meaning however we saw Robert Downey Jr. play Iron Man in the past 12 to 15 years, we're going to be seeing the exact same thing after Secret Wars, but as a different character, which is once again going to be Dr. Doom. And that is also going to be the answer to us on whether we're going to be seeing Dr. Doom for just 2 films or see him for the next 10 to 15 years, having him being the overarching villain to the brand new saga after the Multiverse Saga. The saga after this will be the mutant saga. This whole thing really does remind me of what has been going on with Hugh Jackman and the Wolverine. We all thought that Hugh Jackman was going to just return for just 1 film, Deadpool 3. But 2 months later, after the movie came out, it just so happens that Marvel wants to keep Hugh Jackman to play Wolverine for the next 10 to 15 years. Literally, that meme that has been created worldwide that everybody knows about when they said that he was going to play Wolverine until he's 90, or could actually be true. Like, we could actually be seeing this. And not with just Hugh Jackman, but also with Robert Downey Jr., but not as Iron Man, but as Dr. Doom. They stay in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and play the same role or a different character. It's funny because Hugh Jackman, the way that he portrayed Wolverine in Deadpool 3, it is not the exact same Wolverine that we saw in Logan. So in a way, we could say that he is playing a different character, a different variant. I understand that there might be some people that might say, I just don't see Robert Downey Jr. as Dr. Doom. Like, I can't even see him in terms of how he could act like him. And I understand that, but you have to give it a chance. See how it works out with Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. If he kills it in this role and portrays a whole other different character, then I can see Marvel just saying, okay, this plan that we had about keeping him for the next 10 to 15 years as Dr. Doom, this is going to be the move. Because I do have some backlash to this decision. I would like to see Cillian Murphy as Dr. Doom. That would be the ideal casting, but I want to see how Robert Downey Jr. does first. Ever since he made that movie, Oppenheimer, with Christopher Nolan, it really did show his range and what he could do, because he has a lot of untapped potential. Overall, I think that Marvel and Kevin Feige are starting to realize that if they want a big time movie, a movie that does over $800 million in the box office, you want to have big names. Like, people want to see who they want to see and who they are with. I know that Marvel is prone on trying to bring in new faces, new actors, people that we just don't know anything about. But I'm starting to think that they're taking the route of bringing in the OGs and reintroduce them. At the end of the day, Deadpool 3, a movie that contains Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, 2 actors that we know a lot and we know about severely. They made a $1 billion film. Marvel has not touched a $1 billion film since like 2019, and their first one since 2019 was Deadpool 3. And that is because many wanted to see Hugh Jackman. And I do think that the same thing is going to go on with Robert Downey Jr. Many want to see Robert Downey Jr. again. And yes, Marvel is responsible for giving us something different, something new, something that we have not seen before, which is why they're taking the Dr. Doom route. Now, does this also mean that Dr. Doom does survive at the end of Secret Wars? Like, could we see Dr. Doom continue after this movie and go on out there in the universe and maybe see him once again 2 or 3 years later down the line? Yes, of course, because if you look at the comics and you look at how Secret Wars did end, Dr. Doom does not die. He just loses his powers. And we also see Reed Richards heal Dr. Doom's face. And that's basically it. So we could see something like that once the Multiverse Saga is resolved. If you go into the Mutant Saga and want to introduce Dr. Doom again, you could. I mean, like, the biggest villains, right? If we're going to be doing the Mutant Saga, the biggest villains that we will revolve around, Magneto, Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister, we could have those 3 big villains interact with Dr. Doom and have him become once again the overarching villain of that whole saga. It's going to be exciting. Speaking about Dr. Doom, let's talk about Doomsday coming out in the summer summer of 2026. And we do have Benedict Cumberbatch confirming that he is not going to be in Avengers Doomsday, but he will play a pivotal role in Avengers Secret Wars. And I couldn't believe it when I heard this. I thought that, Cumberbatch made a mistake and he was putting out like spoilers. But I think that Marvel told him to say something like this because it is like a marketing strategy to really catch the eye of many people who do follow Marvel and maybe the people who might follow Marvel in the future. He's putting out these type of things to give us an idea on what the story could be in Avengers Doomsday. So I do think that even though he didn't make it seem like it was a mistake, I don't think that it was. But it's also very interesting because here we are now talking about it, right? Because I can't take it. Like, we have to talk about it. Like, what does this mean? What does it mean when Doctor Strange will not be in Avengers 5? Doctor Strange originally, about 3 years ago, the whole plan was for him to be a huge part of Avengers 5. But at that time, Avengers Doomsday was not called Avengers Doomsday. It was called Avengers the Kang Dynasty. But ever since Kevin Feige found out that this was not the route they're going to be taking, and then you also combine the fact that Jonathan Majors went through all those allegations, they scrapped it. The Kang Dynasty storyline, that's going to be completely scrapped out. Whatever director that we had before, he's also going to be gone. We're restarting this whole thing, and we're just going to be putting in Doomsday and revolve the character around Doctor Doom. And so because you are making a whole other different movie with a whole other different storyline, they eventually found out that this storyline was not going to contain Doctor Strange whatsoever, which is the reason why he's not going to be in the movie, but he will be in Secret Wars where everybody's going to be there. So here is going to be all the things that we do know about this. The Russo Brothers are directing both films, Doomsday and Secret Wars. We know that Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, will not appear in Doomsday because the character does not align with this part of the story. The Fantastic Four and Spider-Man are confirmed to be appearing. Haley Atwell reprised her role as Peggy Carter. So I believe that the whole storyline is going to be revolving around Doctor Doom, Spider-Man, and the Fantastic Four. That is going to be it. Like, everybody else is just going to be sprinkled around that movie in Doomsday. And that's basically it. Like, if Marvel wants to catch the eye of many people, you put Spider-Man in front of that film. When you have Doctor Doom as the main villain, the Fantastic Four is the ideal candidate to put in front of that film because that is one of their main villains. So like I've said, because of the change in villain, that is the reason why the whole storyline has changed. And in result, Doctor Strange is not going to be playing a pivotal role until Secret Wars. And many might ask, okay, why he's not going to be there? In the Multiverse of Madness, in the end credit scenes, we did see him get recruited by Clea. So Clea and Doctor Strange apparently are going to be going around the multiverse, looking at different things, trying to stop incursions, which ultimately could be the reason why he's not going to be there. He's too busy doing other things. And one of the potential plots that I hope does happen in Doctor Strange 3, which I don't think will come out until the end of 2026, is he becomes the sheriff of Agamotto, or in other words, the right hand of God Emperor Doom. This story could involve Strange forming a multiversal team to combat Doctor Doom and restore reality. That would be very interesting, and definitely the movie many would love to see, since it is going to be taking place between Doomsday and Secret Wars. So now let's move on towards the next conversation, and let's speak about Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, a Disney Plus series coming out on January 29th and will end on February 19th. Now, if we look at the schedule, you can see that every Wednesday there is going to be new episodes. On January 29th, they're releasing 2 episodes, Amazing Fantasy and The Parker Luck. On February 5th, they're releasing 3 episodes, Secret Identity Crisis. Episode 4 is called Hitting the Big Time. Episode 5 is called The Unicorn Unleashed. And then going to February 12th, the following Wednesday, we have episode 6 called Duel with the Devil, which most likely is going to be showing Daredevil. And then going to episode 7, Scorpion Rising. And we're probably going to be seeing Spider-Man's villain, Scorpion. Then we do have episode 8 called Tangled Web. And then the season finale, which is going to be containing 2 episodes on February 19th, Hero or Menace, and If This Be My Destiny. The social media embargo lifted, and many have said this show is really good. Let's talk about what some people have said. Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is a must-watch, blending storytelling with its very unique style of animation. It's damn good entertainment, and Spidey fans will love it. When you watch it, you will want 6 more seasons and a movie. We have another one saying, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is going to be a hit with Marvel fans. There is so much packed in, from fan favorite characters to Easter eggs, a perfect show for families, not too kiddie and not too adult. And lastly, we do have somebody else saying, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is a must-see for Spider-Man fans. Classic but fresh. Clearly made by Spider-Man fans for Spider-Man fans. Spectacular action, thrills, and great writing. The animation is kinetic and full of flavor, up there with X-Men 97. Here, they're comparing your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man to X-Men 97. Like, X-Men 97 was a spectacular, amazing show that I want to see more of, hopefully by next year. And if you guys are wondering why they're showing 2 or 3 episodes per Wednesday, that is because they want to wrap up before Daredevil Born Again does come out, because that show comes out on March 4th, 2025. And if they were to release 1 episode per Wednesday, it's going to override with Daredevil Born Again. And Marvel likes to have these shows go on and off, and having their own respective space. On one of the teaser trailers of Spider-Man, we can see that Daredevil is in it, and the person that is going to be voicing that character is going to be Charlie Cox. We're also going to be seeing Doctor Strange, and it's not going to be voiced by Benedict Cumberbatch. It's going to be somebody else. But yeah, it has already been reported back in D23 that Doctor Strange will fight a symbiote in the show. So it should be very, very interesting to see how all of that does play out. So now moving on towards some big DC news. We do have James Gunn posting on social media stating that they have just began filming Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Now, keep in mind that Warner Brothers will have a CinemaCon panel on April 1st. And last year, James Gunn did say that Superman is going to be having a big presence at the event with the entire cast showing up. Hopefully by that time, we can possibly see some screenshots, maybe a small 7 to 8 second teaser of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, since they are filming right now. Here's going to be the picture that James Gunn did show. We can see that the actress is sitting on a chair, and on that chair, there is a logo, right? You see the Superman logo, but it does have some slight changes onto the logo, which ultimately is going to be Supergirl's logo. Most likely, and yes, most likely it is going to be that one. It's not just there for decorations, because last year we did see Superman's logo on one of the director's chairs, and we're like, okay, is that going to be the exact logo that will be on Superman's suit? And it was. So the same should be said about this chair with Supergirl. That logo is most likely going to be on her chest with the exact same color scheme, style, everything. Now, if you look around this picture, you can see that maybe they are in a bar scene. I don't know if this is like a backdrop, but it does not matter. I don't know if this is like a real set or a green screen. The fact that she is in front of a bar scene could mean they're showing us what we saw in the comics. There was a moment in the comics where Supergirl was in a bar in space, and this is going to be aligning with what James Gunn wants to do with Supergirl, because he does want to have Supergirl go around the universe. It's going to be a space opera type of setting. She's not going to be in Earth, probably not until the end of the film. She's in a bar in space, and the reason why she's even there, right, to give you guys some context, Kara's on a quest in space seeking justice for the murder of Ruthie Mary, who is Noel's father. Ruthie did approach Supergirl in this bar asking her to kill Krem, the murderer of her father. Supergirl refuses this request, adhering to her moral code. Kara is shown in a state of vulnerability because she's drunk in the bar, which is unusual for her character, indicating personal turmoil. This scene showcases a humanized side of Supergirl, dealing with emotions away from her heroic duties. And there was also an attack by Krem, kind of like what we talked about earlier. After refusing Ruthie's request, when Kara is preparing to leave the planet, Krem, the antagonist, attacks her and Crypto, which is Supergirl's dog. And this attack does leave both Supergirl and Crypto severely wounded, and Krem flees in Kara's ship. This incident is pivotal as it propels Kara and Ruthie into a joint journey, where Kara, despite being powerless, decides to help Ruthie, marking the beginning of their adventure together. There's a lot of story behind this photo. I know it's just her like in front of this bar, but you know how all of us are. We always like to speculate, and if this is going to be the storyline that they're going to be telling in this movie, I can't wait to see it. It looks very colorful, very vibrant, and I love the universe James Gunn is building so far. There's so much color to the DCU so far. That is it for today's MCU and DCU news. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.